Hello, I'm Natalie Myers, Executive Director of Colorado Kids Create. I'm so excited to be at the Greeley History Museum today, and it's going to be the focus of one of the books for next year's contest. And I'm with Peggy.
Hi, I'm Peggy Ford Waldo with the City of Greeley Museums.
The winners next year will receive tickets to the Greeley History Museum to see something very special that Peggy's going to tell you about.
And I guess I can do that right now. The Greeley History Museum is a fabulous museum that has very interesting artifacts. One of those artifacts happens to be an unusual dress made of approximately 50 rattlesnake skins. It was made by a very interesting woman. Her name was Catherine McHale Slaughterback, and she came to be known as Rattlesnake Kate. On a fateful day in October, actually October 28th, 1925, Kate put her son, Ernie, he was about 3.5 years old, on her horse, and off they rode together on Brownie to retrieve some dead or wounded ducks that hunters had shot near a pond adjacent to her farm near Hudson, Colorado. Well, as Kate got off her horse to open a gate, she walked a few feet into the pasture, and lo and behold, there was a coiled rattlesnake waiting to strike. She didn't think too much about that because she had her trusty .22 Remington gun with her. She immediately shot off its head, and no sooner had that happened than there were more snakes. Finally, after dispatching about 4 shots, she realized she was out of ammunition. She did the next best thing. She very quickly grabbed a no hunting sign, hit it onto the ground to break off the sign, and for the next 2 hours used a club to kill rattlesnakes that were in that area. It was an unusually warm October, and Kate inadvertently found herself surrounded by some migrating snakes. In that 2 hours, as she would learn the next day, when she went back to the site of this massacre, she discovered that she had killed 140 snakes. Well, what does one do with 140 dead rattlesnakes? Well, Kate had a grand interest in taxidermy. She had taken a correspondence course from the Northwestern School of Taxidermy in Omaha, Nebraska, and she was anxious to ply her trade. So, using 3 wash tubs, along with the help from her neighbors, she hauled those snakes back to her house. She skinned them, and she then tanned the skins. She made a very unique flapper-style dress out of the largest of the snake skins. She made a necklace of the largest rattles. She made a headband with rattles glued onto it, and she covered a pair of her finest dancing shoes with snake skins. She was also concerned that people know about this incident, and so to preserve that memory, reporters from the Fort Lupton newspaper came out and took photos of her with the 140 snake skins strung onto a wire. We have photographs of her here at the Greeley History Museum. A lot of interesting information about her life. She was a nurse. She was a taxidermist. She was a wonderful farmer. She liked to farm with antique equipment. She renovated her own home. She had a 4-room shack moved onto her house, to her property in 1952, and using her own skills, she renovated that home. She was born in Longmont, Colorado on July 25th, 1893. She died here in Greeley at the Weld County General Hospital on October 6th, 1969. We are fortunate to have her artifacts that help tell her story.
So get out your markers and paints and prepare great artwork to illustrate the story about Rattlesnake Kate. In this year's book, it will include a song by the late Bing Solomon. I'm going to play it for you so you know the tune. Rattlesnake Kate was a legend, a lady of the plains. Here's the story that stands behind how Katie got her name, how Katie got her name. Kate went out one morning, was on a sunny day. Her boy sat right behind her as they rode along their way, rode along their way. Out in the field dismounted, she stopped right in her tracks. A big old angry rattlesnake was a-buzzing at her back, buzzing at her back. Tune up the fiddle and rosin the bow, turkey in the straw and a cotton-eyed Joe. We'll have a time, boys, don't you know, when Katie comes to town. When Katie heard that buzzing, she looked down on the ground. Everywhere there was rattlesnakes, buzzing all around, buzzing all around. Well, son, you stay on that horse, was all that lady said. She shot some snakes, then grabbed some wood and started bashing heads. She started bashing heads. And when at last she stopped to rest, her hands all bloody red, 140 rattlesnakes lay all around her dead, laid all around her dead. Tune up the fiddle and rosin the bow, turkey in the straw and a cotton-eyed Joe. We'll have a time, boys, don't you know, when Katie comes to town. Saturday night at a country dance, excitement's running high. We've waited for a month or more. There'll be a dance tonight. There'll be a dance tonight. Hands clapping, fiddles ring, folks are stepping high. There's a jug at every fence post. There's pudding, cake, and pie. There's pudding, cake, and pie. Then a hush falls on the crowd. What's this, for goodness sake? It's Katie dressed from head to toe in the skin of rattlesnakes, in the skin of rattlesnakes. Tune up the fiddle and rosin the bow, turkey in the straw and a cotton-eyed Joe. We'll have a time, boys, don't you know, when Katie comes to town. Tune up the fiddle and rosin the bow, turkey in the straw and a cotton-eyed Joe. We'll have a time, boys, don't you know, when Katie comes to town.